So yesterday we did our work up to this point where we found the top 20 best performing products, but that problem or requirement is in two stages because it says that we should identify the top selling and the low performing ones. So the low performing ones is going to be quite easier now. I'm just going to copy this table, and so let's Control A, Control C that. And I'm just gonna dump that here somewhere. Say here, Control V. Okay. And yesterday we did the top 20. So if we use the show value as, and we are ranking now from smallest to largest now is what we are going to do. Or rather than do that, actually, let's go into here and do a quick work of the top 10. We've done the work up to top 10 yesterday. So we are going to just do top 20, sorry. So we're just going to change this to bottom 20, and there we have it. So our bottom 20 these are the bottom 20, the worst performing from the bottom 20 ones are these ones. And I'm just going to change that sort from what it is. So if we sort that from, we had largest to smallest before. So if we do the opposite, smallest to largest now, so we can see that the actual last products with the sales of £5.32 is there, and the highest in that category is this one, 24. And we can see that massive difference between the two rows. If I make these products so that labeling is right, so these products as well, and this is going to be our bottom now, not top 20, but bottom 20. So that sorts that's a requirement. So if going back to the requirement, now we've dealt with sales analysis. We've looked at we've summarized the total sales revenue. We've analyzed sales performance by salesperson, and we've identified the top selling and the bottom performing, the low performing products. So that ends that, We haven't really arranged our work yet. This is like you're working out in maths, or you say where you do your rough work before you then will build a dashboard to arrange the work and make it look a bit tidier than this. Okay. Now, the next requirement is on order processing efficiency. We want to see how efficient the order processing was in this data set. And we can see, it says evaluate the efficiency of the order processing system. The details of this requirement is that we should calculate the average time taken from order placement to shipment, order processing time. So we are going to need another column in this data set where we would calculate the difference between the order date and the ship date. So from when the order was made to when it was shipped, we want to see how many days in between. I'm going to drop that here. Before I do that, actually, remember how I said that we shouldn't be leaving formula in our work. So let's get rid of these formulas because that's not smart. Okay, so I'm just going to pick that, Control C that, and then we can paste here. And I'm going to paste values. Okay, so if I just click on like that, we can see that the formula disappeared. Okay, and we're going to do the same for here. And the reason that's necessary sometimes is when you're doing your work in Excel and you shift, maybe I insert a column here. There are times that formulas that you have done around here may have errors in them probably because you have referenced a particular column, and now that column is no longer valid, for the calculation. Okay, so that's another good reason to change this to values. Okay, so now we are safe. We know nothing is going to happen, to this. I'll go back here and insert a column here where we will call that order processing time. Order processing time. Right, okay. And what we're going to do, like I said, is we're just going to subtract this from this. Let's see how many days are in between. So we start a formula with an equal to, and I'm just going to pick this minus this, and I'll enter that. Now it's brought this as a date. We don't want the data type to be in date. We want it to be number. Okay, so I'll change that to number, and here we have it. And I don't really necessarily want decimal either. Let me see if there's any fraction anywhere. No. Okay, so we can get rid of the those decimal places and just make it whole number like that. Okay, so we can see for this order by Mr. Robert Carlton, it was ordered on the 1st of January 2017, and the ship date was on the 3rd. That makes a difference of 2 days. And we see some orders where it was the same day that the order was made that it was also shipped. And we see a 0 there, Now the question says that we should find the average, calculate the average time taken from order placement to ship placement. So if I go into our pivot table page, I'm just going to refresh this, because now that we have added a new column here, we need to refresh this page so that it gets that extra column that we have added. Okay, and also let's get rid of the formula as well. Okay, so we are fine now. I'm just going to refresh on here. So under data, I'll refresh all, and that should bring order processing time. So we have that order processing time here now. And I can just copy this. I'll copy this pivot table, just put it somewhere here, Control V that. But what I want is the processing time, not the total sales. So I'll get rid of the total sales. What's it saying? We couldn't complete the action in this because something already, okay. So we're seeing an overlap. Let me see if that can be done again. If not, we'll get rid of that. All right. Actually, let me use this pivot table. So I need the order processing time. Where is it? This one here. So I'm going to click on that. Now, by default, because it's found it as number, it has summed it up, but we want average. So I'm going to click on this down arrow here, value field, and I will change that calculation to average. Okay, and I would okay that. Okay, and now this is the average time. So throughout this data set now, it's gone on to add up all the order times, order processing time, and then divided by the number of times that orders were placed. And now we can see that at an average, orders are processed within almost 2 days. Orders are shipped within almost 2 days. So this is our average processing time. And that answers this question. Calculate the average processing time, okay? Then it says that we should analyze the distribution of orders across different order priority levels, okay? Analyze the distribution of orders. How are orders distributed across different order priority levels, okay? And if we go back into the data, we've got order priority as one of the columns, okay? So we want to see how many orders fall within each of these, the groups with each of the order priority within this column. That's what we want to find out. How do we do that? Let me see if I can cut these out and bring it down, because now it's here, it's just now useless. So if I Control X that, bring it down here somewhere. Okay. So we want the priority, order priority in the row, okay? But we don't want total sales. So I'll take total sales out. And what we want to do is we want to count the order ID, okay? Because in here, every time an order is placed, an ID is generated, okay? So we want to count how many orders in total are here, okay? So we bring our order ID, which is this one, we bring it here. And again, because our order ID is formatted as number, seeing it as number, because it's actually number, but these numbers are unique numbers. We don't want to sum it up. We want to count. Okay, so I go back into this down arrow again, into the value field, and I tell it to count the orders for me. So we count the orders and we can see, again, we can get rid of the decimal. We don't need the decimal places there. Okay, so critical order priorities are 443. The high priority ones are 417, low 420, medium 428, and not specified. So we've got some of them not really put in a particular category here. So those are 445. They are the most. We can decide to represent this as any chart that portrays what we are trying to portray. A column, sort of shows a good comparison, but we've used the column one, the column charts before. So maybe we should try the bar chart just for variety, okay? And I love using the 3Ds, any of these two, okay? Not the 100% because that doesn't really show much of the difference or comparison we are trying to show. Okay, so I'll go with this. Again, each chart, there are different charts for different purposes. Charts such as this, the bar graph and the column chart, are always good for comparison. None of the questions we've been asked has anything to do with trend. But let's say that we just want to show sales over the month, how sales has performed, over the month. I can just copy this just to show you how trend would work. Okay, so if I bring that down here, and then we've got total sales already, and I can just look at order date, so if I pick the order date and drop it in the row now, let me Control Z that to give me proper this, yes. So if I want to show this as a trend, I'll just go in. For trends, it's best to use line graphs, you know. So a chart like this would be good, but I mean, to get a better feel of things, it's better to show by month. So if I had summed it into January, or grouped rather into January, February, March, you know, this would have shown a better trend that can be easily readable, you know, not really squiggled together like this. Let's get rid of that. Let's go into here. I think there's somewhere where I can group this. Where I can group this into months. If not, I'll drag this out, put it back, and, you know, retain months, because it's just the 1 year that we have here. Okay, so I'll take the date out. There's always different ways to achieve the same thing. So yeah, this is what I need now. So most of the time when you drag a date field into the rows, or any of the 4 quadrants here, it splits it into months, dates, year, where you have many years, and you can play around that the way that you need it to be. Okay. In this case, I believe that the trend will be shown better the way I wanted to show it at a month level. So now we can see the line, you know, better. I'm just going to click that, and trying to read what this is now. We can see that in January, we have the most sale. We have the tip here, and then there was a sharp fall in February, sharp fall in sales. In March, we can see a bit of a rise. Not much difference around here. Then we had a dip, in a more of a quick dip, so to say, in May. So you can see over time how the line is showing us how sales performed in that year, you know, over the months. So if you are looking at the trend, you know, of a variable in your data set, the line graph is always advisable. I you know, deviated into this just to show us that there are different charts would perform different purposes, you know. If I was to do comparison between the months, this line is not the best. It would be one of the column graph, or the bar chart that would be best for comparing. Is what I'm trying to get at there. But I'll delete that because it's not very relevant to the business requirement we are dealing with. So we've done this and analyzed the distribution order across different order priority levels. We have seen how across the different priority levels, the orders, how many orders, you know, fall into each of the category there. One thing I've not done so far is I've not really labeled my charts, and that's because I've not really done any formatting yet. When we start to put them together in a proper dashboard, so to make them more presentable, at the moment we are just doing our working out. Then we'll make it more presentable than this as we go on. Okay, and now the last one, it says assess the impact of different shipping modes on order fulfillment. That we need to assess what is the impact that each of the shipping modes has had on our order fulfillment. Okay, now some people might look at this, you know, in terms of, okay, maybe let me analyze this as shipping mode. How many orders were placed within each shipping mode? But on a second thought, I thought it's saying that impact of different shipping modes on order fulfillment. Is that talking about the number of days between the order date and the ship date? So I'm going to throw this to the house within the 4 minutes before we start to take questions. This is 7:22 already. How does this question come across to you? Is it telling us to use the order processing time, to work this out? Or is it telling us to use the number of orders that fall into these shipping modes? What would you go with, please? Unmute and go for it if you want to go for it.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, for me, I feel they want to see the relationship between the shipping mode and how long it takes for the consignment to get to the customer.
Okay, the order processing time.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Thank you
Okay.
very much for that answer. That's the way I'm thinking around it too, but I think someone else wants to talk.
For me, good evening all. I think it's the other way.
Okay.
I think they actually want to see the effect of the shipping mode on the sales.
On
How
the
it has
sales.
affected the sales, yes.
Okay. So, okay. I'm just going to put what you've just said now. So I'll put the shipping mode, and I'm going to change this for this. I'm going to change this to sales now. Sales after discount is what we use. So let's look at that question again in 1 minute. It says, assess the impact of the different shipping mode on order fulfillment. So order fulfillment would be, how were we able to fulfill the orders? How fast or how slow were we? So, and what that would, the way that is coming to me is, according to the number of days between the order date and the ship date, that is where the order fulfillment is happening. Okay, so I would think it's not really to do with the sales itself, but to do with the processing times. How long it took for us to process. So for all of the orders that were done by delivery truck, the difference in, should I be using some for this for here? Processing time, yes, I should be actually. Okay, so delivery truck took, within the whole year, it took us 575 days in between order dates and ship dates. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the way I'm handling this. Then by air, that took express air, that took 484 days in total for the whole year. And regular air is telling us that took 3,000 over 3,000 days, between shipping dates and the order dates. Okay, so this other one would be, we can label this as analysis of total sales by ship mode. So the sales that were made and delivered by delivery truck would be that amount. Express air would be that amount, and regular air would be that amount. Okay, so do we have any questions as per the work that we have done today? Today we have looked at, we have completed this requirement here. We did the the low performing products. We have also worked around how efficient is our order processing. Okay, and by that we've calculated the average time it takes between order date and ship date. We have analyzed how our distribution of orders is between the different priority levels. And we have also assessed the impact of the different shipping modes on our order fulfillment. And that ends the requirements that we are given. Having said that, it's always good to go back to the business at this point before you put it in the very presentable manner that we will do by tomorrow. It's always good to go back and validate, get your calculators in and be sure, okay? If there are other data analysts within your team or other teams within the business, let them have a look for you as well, because sometimes you have looked at a worksheet for so long and you are missing out on something. Mr. Francis's hand is raised. Please go for it, sir.
Can you scroll down? There's something that's dropping on my brain. Stop.
Okay.
This sum of order processing time. We are looking at delivery truck, express freight, regular head, and analytic point. Is there a way we can inference which of these, I'll find the right word, which of these would best suit the business going forward to deliver in terms of how long it takes in order, and we're able to deliver the order to you. And because of the delivery, we're able to fulfill order faster and maybe you're happier. Is there a way we could look at the average, how do I put it now? Average of each of these delivery method?
Yes, sir, there is. There is a way to look at things, and we can actually, let me bring back the field list. We can actually, look for, this is the high end, the top end analysis of things. We can actually look at, okay, what we are looking at now, how many orders fall into each category? Okay, so if we drop in here, number of orders, so I'm going to count this, count, okay? So we can see that about 303 orders took this long, about 264 orders took this long, and about 1,000, over almost 1,600 orders, took this long, okay? Then we can look at the shipping costs, because we've got a ship amount, okay? We can look at the ship cost, drop that in as well, and see how we can manipulate things around to move more of the regular air, to maybe express air, because we've got a lot of people going for regular. Why are they going for regular? We want to look at that, because regular is understandably, having a lot, is taking more, okay? So 1,005 to 3,000 order. I think it's actually fair enough. If we divide each of these.
It might be because it's cheap. Maybe those other ones cost more.
Yes.
So if we divide maybe the processing time by how many, the count of order ID, why not? Okay, and divide each of these and see, like Oluti just said now, look at the ship amount, which is more costly, which is more effective, and then we look at the impact on our own business. Is it profitable for us as a business if we take a step like this? This is where we start to drill down deeper, into our data, and then start to make recommendations for stakeholders to make the decisions around, what we are suggesting to them.
And it might also be because most customers prefer that, and then it can also be something that the business might look into. Maybe they want to invest more into that area so that they can encourage more business. If the bulk of their profit or money is coming from there, they might want to see how to enhance it further.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
That's correct. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks very much for that question as well. It's really very, very, helpful. It drives more insight. At the moment, we are just doing very simple analysis. And that's because some of us are new to this. So I like to take things from the foundation of things so that as we build up, it is clear to people what we are doing. It won't be that we just jumped a whole hurdle and people are dazed. So this is the end of this particular work set. What we are doing more of tomorrow is how do we present this? How do we make it eye-catchy and, you know, make it something presentable to stakeholders, CEOs, and, you know, people like that, our bosses. We can't take all the work like this to them. It's not making sense. Like, why are tables scattered here and there, you know? And like I said, this is your working out, okay? So we'll make another sheet where we'll format each and every one of them, you know, title them properly, you know, and then we'll see what more recommendation within 30 minutes tomorrow can be made. And that will be the end of this data set. And I'm hoping that we all, you know, try and get our hands on it and practice as well, because it's going to get harder as we go. But if you don't get it, get how to do it now by practicing, then you might not be able to catch up, and which is not good. Okay. Any more questions before we go?